for the Vayne. They didn't really know what to do with them. And if you're in a Kazante, you're going to be fine. Your Senna and Tam Kench, you're going to be fine to start doing what they want as well, even unlocking Gumayushi early to start playing around the map. So this may not be...
Oh, no. The corpse of the cannon flew up into the air.
You know as soon as...
Oh, Faker going to get pulled back! And that is first blood going to Knight, and it's a soul!
Knight gets the auto off and gets the kill there. That is insane advantage.
Well, BLG now pushing forward here towards the bottom side. Guma does slink down into the mist, but Shun's making his way in. Arctic Assault is going to find the Senna, and there's the Weaver's Wall as well. They take down Gumayushi, and there's the flick on the carrier as well, but Owner is there with the stab. Finally, they take down the target.
He put it back to life.
Yeah, in the meantime, that is going to be the handshake on top of the rocks. There is the seismic shove, and Faker is just going to try and deal with the wave. For scaling, but they do have a lot of it in this particular game. So if you are a T1 fan, maybe not completely over yet, especially if Zeus is going to have a good time here towards the top side, going all out. Does get condemned into the alcove. So Bin should be able to create enough distance to avoid getting solo killed.
You can see that Bin wanted to go back for the cannon, but going to have to give that one up. Instead, going to join for the Void Grubs to get that, as T1 will trade for the Dragon on the bottom side.
And Faker continuously scaling on Corki.
Well,
but
he might be dead yet again. There's the flash handshake to come out from On as Guma. He's trying to get out of there, but I don't know whether it's going to work out as Elk is just dashing behind him, finds the pierce, and he just explodes. Carrier.
Classic Baron rush.
Faker.
Yeah, well, Faker's just going to face check, put in prison here, and the wall is set up behind him. There's the flash Valkyrie, using him in the right order this time around, but he's still dead. The rocks are thrown at him.
Championship for themselves, then moves over to JDG, manages to flip the script and get another one, but now in boss.
In goes Carrier, looks for an opportunity here on to Elk. The bailout should be there, but the Devour is as well. Elk, he is going to get taken down, not going to be able to trade back. Carrier doesn't even need to eat the Grey Health, and T1 are on the board in the bottom lane.
Okay, they got the resources down bottom to bail them out, but top side.
Bit of a trade here is now the All Out just going to pull in the special delivery Piggy, and Zeus.
So he goes down through the lane to bottom side, and Carria's able to help him, get the play there with the lane gank. That was so necessary for T1, because BLG...
With the Kraken Slayer completed for Owner, he's in a great spot, and if he can start to play around bot side once more here, maybe they can go again.
Well, it's going to Knight and Elk with the most gold in the game, as we saw just there, as now Faker with the package at the ready avoids everything, or everything misses. Package going to get delivered as the Drake now being considered by T1. Snare connects onto Shun, but he is still in this fight, at least for the moment. Faker getting a lot of damages. There is a huge burrow right on top of BLG and T1. I think we may have started counting him out too early as Owner hopping.
Dragon afterwards. And they have recovered.
Brilliant read from T1 as well. On it already.
Really doing a lot of work for this team.
This might be a bridge too far here for Zeus, who is going to have to try and get something done to get out of here. Has ghosted, has made it underneath the turret, but there's the flash forward. He is going to get stunned to the wall with the condemn, and there's the kill going over to On. 4 members going to be enough to deal with the Kazante here, and they should also be able to grab a second turret for themselves.
Just a question of how far do they want to keep going. Bin going to reset to try and move on. It's just a kill. But still, BLG stepping up on this top side. They have the Rift Herald in tow, but I think they want to try and keep that for mid and a potential Dragon in 3 minutes time.
And Owner's the only one here picking up these.
Oh dear, there's a Glacial Prison. And yep, he's normally a pretty slippery champion, but it's not going to work out there.
The charge is now gone, but Terror may just fall regardless.
Yeah, it's just gone anyway. Might get another charge. Just trying to get as much money as possible, and I think T1 are probably pretty happy that they managed to get the first 2 Drakes this game, because this is a Corki composition. One, getting the first Drake, generally hard. You don't have the package available for that one. The second one, far more possible, something that they were able to do by winning a team fight. And this one, don't necessarily need to get it. They're happy for the game without any control of this Baron area. Some wards that have been turned off, and now, speaking of getting turned off, Owner is out of there. Baron, the Weaver's Wall comes through as Zeus. He wants to try and get over that. Now Faker off to the side on a bit of a flank angle. Decent amount of damage can be done here, and that is going to be the Baron secured by BLG. All of their inner turrets here. This one is going to go down. BLG with good pressure in multiple lanes. Now Bin not going to push any further forward. This is a little bit of a dangerous spot as he does get interrupted. Zeus getting that wraparound. Final hour does come on through. As now just looking to turn it onto Faker. Is this going to be the 1v2 as the All Out does come through? There's the pullback, and now Bin is so fast, he just kills Faker. Can he get out is the question. The answer is, does he even want to? Gumayusi coming around, and I think he will be shut down, but a 1-for-1, you take those.
Everyone at T1 was needed to take down Bin, and he still gets a kill. This guy is a monster. The shadow boxing into hitting hard for the BLG top laner.
And now this inhibitor should follow as well as Carrier. So many sticks in him as Ona trying to get himself out of there. Thankfully, Carrier is pretty tanky with the fact that he's the one that's been farming, but this inhibitor not long for the world. And BLG, they grab themselves their
BLG, they return. Knight cuts them off with a bit of a wall.
Well, Carrier actually going aggressive there. Not sure about that one as now hostile takeover comes on in. Both tanks just doing battle, and Bin puts Carrier in the ground. Zeus not looking as tanky as he has in some of the other games here at MSI. The inner turret is going to be taken down. BLG, just a couple of turrets standing beside the Nexus for them to get rid of. They're going to start with this top lane inhibitor turret as Ona on that flank angle teleport to come in as well. Shun down to 50% as now Zeus thinks he may have found an angle here. The flash forward from Gumayusi doesn't manage to find the snare, and neither does Zeus. The all-out comes on through. Faker delivers a package to the backline and gets rid of Knight. Could this be the team fight they're looking for? Faker, he goes down, but I think they're just too big, and Elk is ripping them apart, rendered down. And I think that's the last gasp for T1 in game one.
The speed up would not be enough for Elk to get the quadra kill, but the BLG bot lane has come alive finally in this game. T1 thought they could fight the 4 versus 5, but they were sadly mistaken.
It's closing in around T1. That is 2 inhibitors down. On gets slowed, but Bin has arrived to the party as well. He's got a bottom minion wave to work with, and that tower doesn't stand a chance.
Yep, looks like we're going full tutorial here, gentlemen, taking down all of these inhibitors before we get to work on the Nexus. T1, I don't think they're going to be able to stop this.
Mid lane difference that we saw, Knight over Faker, obviously a huge factor as Sun's having a little fun in the jungle.
Yep, not really taking too much damage here, but is going to be able to interrupt Zeus on his attempted way out. And now 1 versus 5. I don't think that one's going to be winnable there, Zeus. As BLG, they're teleporting. They're trying to finish this one off right now. Knight heads towards that bottom lane carrier there to try and meet the wave. Knight is so incredibly frightening. 4 versus 5 here. Only 2 turrets remain here for T1 as they're looking to desperately hold on. It feels so hopeless as the hostile takeover is gigantic. There's another handshake from On. He is just so good at this champion. Gumayusi is going to get flattened, and T1 going to get pulled out of their fountain. Carrier, not enough gray health to go through here as he will be rendered where he stands. And there goes the Nexus on game 1. BLG up 1-0.
But they still started it off with bot lane prio, so they can still start the game by playing through bottom lane, through Elk and On again, just like they always classically do. Elk and On, so good at building for...
Nicely done, though, by Faker to actually get some pressure there, because, again, this opens up Owner to start to move in towards the Rift Child. Shun, though, going to try and respond by diving bot side, and Gumayusi's very low.
He really is. In fact,
oh
they
my
don't
God.
even need him. There's the flash forward. First blood going over to On. He will be answered as Carrier locks down that kill, and now he's going aggressive. Faker moving down towards his bottom side as well. The wall comes in. Seismic shove pulls him back, and there is the answer. The 2-for-1.
So when this comes through now with the ult from Faker, Elk doesn't have any sort of flash, so cleanses the stun, but still gets hit by the flick back, and there's no way that he can get out.
Yeah, Elk and On are so... Oh, never mind.
Bin looking like he's in a little bit of trouble here towards the top side of the map. Both of these champions can tank pretty nicely. There's the flash just to make sure he can get a
Wait a sec.
Can he? The all-out comes on through as Zeus was taking the turret for around 16 years, and there is the kill back in the end.
Kill, of course, is finished off there by T1, and they're able to go 1-for-1. Faker now visited.
Yeah, if 2 didn't work, then let's bring 3. Dawning Shadow comes in. Fantastic handshake once again from On. I think that T1 might need to think about banning away that champion hostile. About these turrets being pushed into so aggressively. Ona now will be able to take his 4th grub as well, as there's another handshake from On, but T1, they're making their way in. The Ignite ticking down. Piercing Darkness not going to do as much, but he is going to be fine and get out.
They got the damage they needed to, though. Faker taken low means that you can't really contest on this top side for the Void Grubs. package picked up for Knight, though, means they won't have that available for that next Dragon. So curious to see if T1 will keep track of that.
Shun and Knight heading towards that top side.
Yeah, BLG made the call. We are going to wait for the next Dragon. Just trade this one, no problem. Go for Rift Herald, top side instead. Meanwhile, pretty quick rotation from T1 immediately after the Dragon. And they're going to head to try and chase them off of Rift Herald. Barely finished off, and the escape now is good.
Well, now a potential dive available, thrown back with the seismic shove as Elk is in trouble. Carrier dives forward, they take down the turret, great handshake. Another hostile takeover is going to be good, but this time, Carrier is just that little...
Doing it all points of time, but now he needs to use it again because Knight's in trouble topside.
He certainly is.
Yeah, this is a rough one. There's a seismic shove, it's going to miss, but it gets the flash. Knight now in trouble. He's surviving for a long time, but Gumushi, he'll have the range. Bailout not quite going to be there. Arizona locks down that kill. Knock up after the cleanse. It's a disaster for Elk. T1 take two.
Almost baited in by trying to get the bailout for Knight here. Elk, through the Q to try and get
considered using the Weaver's Wall, but T1 are just going to march their way down the mid instead.
Really good job keeping up the pressure here. Rank 2 ultimate from Wukong, who's got the level 6, or who has the package on Knight. Is he going to go?
Weaver's Wall going to try and split this fight up. There's a seismic shove. Knight, he hasn't used the package. He tries to use it defensively, but it's cut off. And now there's Stretch Armstrong. He dives into the pit. The Drake is secured here for BLG, but T1 are just rolling over the top. Ben, he can't Kazante his way out of down on both sides. Just don't do it.
Oh. Gotta say, it's not the first time we've seen Knight struggle.
I'll be able to walk up and get some extra damage onto this turret. There's the rocks, they go down. That means there's no way to counter-engage. T1 will making his way forward as well. Unstoppable used here by Bin to absorb some of that CC, but there's another Weaver's Wall that will guarantee this inner turret. I thought Faker was going to go a little bit further on that one, but instead he is going to take the safer route. Back immediately. Has to use the Fate's Call as On is going to be saved. Carrier just standing in that front line. Zeus on the flank angle. The Zac looking for that opportunity. There is the Weaver's Wall to go through. Dawning Shadow to make sure that T1 are all absolutely fine. And in goes Zeus. Doesn't find the stretching strike, but he just doesn't take damage. Knight gets a decent package this time around, but the Cyclone does absolutely nothing. Ona tries to go aggressive. Knight gets at least one there as the bailout comes in, and T1, they're just a brick wall. They're not going to be taken down. Their health bar is still above 50% on, having to get out of there. And Knight, there is just nothing left in the tank. Carrier just chasing after him, tongue at the ready, and Faker will throw the rocks at the Renata to finish off the support. Zeus, yeah, this might take some time, but I think he might be able to get it. And there it goes, just lands the slingshot.
T1 just walk over BLG.
Well, yeah, it's very slow, just walk towards them.
One.
Gumushi backing up his support. Carrier slinks into Fog of War once again. Bin trying to aggressively position himself, trying to get his way in. As he eats all of those rocks, there's another wall. As the Cyclone, this time into the backline, is fantastic. It lands onto Gumushi, but it's a trade of 80 carries. And Zeus is buying so much space. There goes the Wukong. Zeus, is he going to take damage? Will he? Will it happen?
He will, and then he'll heal it.
Yes, so he will. He will continue to take damage, but heals way more than he takes as Knight is trying to hide behind the Gromp.
Where do you go?
Stay still for me, buddy. Nope, not going to work out there. Tried to be tricky.
Knight was caught between a frog and a catfish.
Oh, no.
And nowhere to go. And T1 are inside the base. They're taking Baron at the same time. Zeus says, I'll go for the end. You get the objectives.
Yep. He's not going to be killing anyone, but he does manage to take down that inhibitor turret like you were talking about. And yeah, slowly but surely. Yes, putting his blobs against the inhibitor. Doesn't quite work out there as Carrier manages to get another wave forward.
Fish and a blob. So Shun dealt with thanks to Owner and Faker. And then Knight just does not do enough damage on Corky. And there goes Shun.
Okay.
Just pop goes the Weasel.
I'm not entirely sure. We're lacking a little context there, but that is fine. 6-0-5 for Flubber. And Carrier, he can lick this turret down if he would like to. And there is the Zac in once again, lands right on top of On. Just not quite able to do too much. And yes, there are 3 members of BLG now throwing sticks and all sorts of stuff towards their Zac, but he still wants to go aggressive. Bin moving forward, and he is very, very tanky, but T1 just look undeterred. They will be able to take the inhibitor towards the bottom side of the map. Just one inhibitor remaining, and Faker. T1 now have a minion wave towards this turret. Still looking for a dive attempt. Weaver's Wall does come down. That will guarantee this one. Very textbook here for T1. They'll lock that one down. Now they go aggressive. In goes Zeus. Does get Elk out of there, but now they might have an opportunity. The blob is finally going relatively low. Still has cell division, I'm pretty sure, although we haven't seen it so far this game. Flash out as Shun has to avoid the seismic shove. The inhibitor does go down now, and BLG, they just can't get any lethal blows onto T1.
Yeah, they jumped the front line pretty low, but they're going back in.
All right, Zeus, he still has 100 health, so he may as well go in. There it is. Stretch Armstrong comes down, the cell division coming on forward, and he gets devoured. Never you mind. Zeus still has the passive up and available.
Oh my God.
This is just absurd. Bin going down very low. The Nexus turret's not going to last, and T1, they will even out the series against BLG.
T1 bounce back.
It is a purple champion. I'm okay with that. Thinking about a Viger, and he will lock that one in. That's going to be the answer to the Talia this time around.
I actually like it. You get the ability to just safely farm up in the lane phase. You are going to
Gumayushi here, as Zeus tanking the first turret shot. We're going to try and soften him up. Of course, it is dangerous to try and dive at Jax just in general, but 4 versus 1 here on the top side of the map as well. Looks like BLG might be able to get onto the board as Carrier wants to eat that grey health. He does so, and Shun not going to be able to reset. That is Carrier locking that one down. A 1-for-1 on the top side, and in the meantime, Zeus just barely...
Shun is now looking at Guma.
Yeah, there are 4 members of BLG moving down here. There's the flash twisted advance, gets very deep underneath the turret, but the seismic shove is fantastic. And this time, Shun doesn't need a twisted advance to survive the dive. In goes Ona once again, does a fair bit of damage tonight. But it looks like they will be able to get away from this one scot-free. Faker making the roam down. Let's see whether the Faker can get his cage into position. T1 wanting to keep them interested. There's a flash out from On. And it should mean that T1 aren't able to get too much back, as Shun taking a lot of damage, still down to 100 though, keeps himself alive, as now Faker throws out...
Meanwhile, they're looking for a repeat here. Faker sticking around.
Yeah, On in a bit of trouble here, as Faker does move on down towards that bottom side, and that is going to be a kill going over to Gumayushi. Just a little bit.
Move Bin into the bottom side, so On been a little bit late on some of these rotations as a result, and T1 have been punishing well with it.
Well, Zeus should be able to move down with his Destiny Gate towards that bottom side of the map, as that wave is going to be pushed in.
Shun again, ultimate towards Faker.
Yep,
Faker who does that flash.
Yeah, should be able to get himself pretty far away. Seismic shove going to connect though, puts down the cage, but it doesn't really do anything. Dark Matter flies down and Faker is just dead. No flash, going to eat.
You will get the Void Grove trade, but watch Bin. Will he stick around under tower? Will T1 look for the dive? Because there's the teleport.
Yeah, that's a very deep one. That's that ward that we were looking at before, as Carrier is going to make his way in. Bin already down to about 50%, and he does have the counter-strike up and available. That means not going to be able to find too much, especially with Knight teleporting in. Beautifully played here by BLG to just get what they can from the Rift. Ona going to be able to secure himself a few of these Void Grubs, but that is only going to even out those that take.
Yep, exactly. Splitting Dragons, splitting Void Grubs here, splitting tower plates.
Looks like Zeus will be able to grab this turret. Plate's just falling down, so we won't be able to get the last one. Still going to be able to answer that first turret that was taken on the bottom side by BLG. They'll answer, though, with a Rift Herald of their own. And now, Ona looking to go aggressive, does dive towards Elk, but thinks against it, as now that is a better target for the Culling. Gumayushi taking a fair bit, still able to outrange it. Nature's Grasp going to be used here by Shun. Let's see who we can get for it, as Gumayushi very far off to the side, and that is going to be Ona going down. Elk dives forward, picks up the kill for himself, but he's now out of the fight, gone very, very low with the amount of turret shots he took.
Oh, these Maokai ultimates from Shun in mid lane. Kill after kill, they take down Owner, they immediately pop this Rift Herald, and they're gonna hard force. That's at least outer tower down. They can get the second, can they get the second charge off?
Unanswerable, especially for Ona, who as soon as he did get snared, he was just doomed. This tower gonna go down though, as Faker secures that one.
How do you ever control mid lane here? BLG, Elk and On, they push it, they roam up to that topside tower.
Yep, tidal wave going to come down. The baby cage is there to try and protect as Gumayushi. The piercing darkness is decent, but he gets caught. Oh, Faker no, does have the Seraphs, and that is going to keep him alive for the moment.
Look at that value play though.
Going to be utilized. That gives vision of this Drake, but I don't think they're going to be able to get there. So that's the Dragon being secured by BLG. And T1 slink back to the mid lane.
They're teleporting on Zeus.
All right, yeah, Bin He's looking for an opportunity onto the Twisted Fate here, and now he finds himself in melee range. Not exactly where the TF wants to be, but the cavalry has been called in. The kick flash, it comes down the flash out. He snares both, but he's going to be able to survive the Dawning Shadow. And T1 not able to find anything, but still not going to lose their Twisted Fate either.
T1 were trying to trade for the tier 2 on top side, but now they might trade their lives.
Yep, another Nature's Grasp coming on down there as Ona gets twisted, advanced on. The seismic shove doesn't quite find the target though, and Carrier is once again extraordinarily tanky. Yep, gold card going to connect, but Elk not really too worried about it. And here is all of the ultimates flying forward. It's a decent gobble this time around, but the Tom Kench will not survive. Faker finds his opportunity, but he just takes a Nami, and that is not going to do enough to get them into this fight. Still flashing, puts down the cage, but the Baleful Strike will not land. And now there is nowhere for him to go. Back against the wall, and there is a killing spree.
They're behind, they will rush Baron. BLG check it. They got a little bit of extra damage on mid turret as well. Cage goes down, but nobody gonna get caught.
Yeah, there's the Nature's Grasp once again. That's gonna guarantee the turret. Very nicely done here. You can see that, Faker throwing like a W at it just to say like, yeah, we could.
Look at the spin.
There's another Weaver's Wall to come through from Knight. Ona gets over. At the Nature's Grasp should be able to get the Viger, although it does run out. Still, I think Ben with some free time should be able to take him down. Seismic shove not onto Faker, but he's still going to go down. And that is Knight that collects that kill.
With Faker in the graveyard there, they cannot afford to defend their
Oh my god! The Devour has to be used here by Carrier, and he's going to get Gamushi out, but to safety, I'm not entirely sure because the teleport's coming in, and Ben just dives on top of him. There goes the bottom lane, shoved around his Carrier. Vision of what's going on here. Ona, he can safeguard his way through. And Faker with that smite play you were talking about, it is very scary. Dawning Shadow gives them vision, and Ona goes in, but it's not going to be in time. Kicks the tree over the wall and then meets his demise. BLG, they'll take the Baron, and they'll look real good to win this game.
Wait, the TP mid?
All right, well, Carrier's making his way back, and he's tanky, but not that tanky, and he goes the wrong direction, one could say. Faker's going to turn up alongside him and just die.
BLG are going to speed run the rest of this game then. Thank you very much for the extra kills. Thank you for the extra cooldowns, T1. And they're going straight for the base.
All right, well, Gamushi is going to try and defend, and it's not going to work, as this is going to be the base broken for BLG. Feels like T1 just can't handle the pressure. There it is. Rocks being strewn on the ground in front of Gamushi. Isaiah's trying to do some fancy footwork, but it is not going to be enough. As Ona, he gets underneath his inhibitor turret, but he's thrown around like a ragdoll once again. Elk will be taken down. So there's at least some shutdown gold going over to Ona. And BLG, they're happy to have some fun as well.
Just mean they won't get the inhibitor though, and because Bin was pushing the top side, won't actually get too much. So
Nami ultimate, things that are just going to make your approach a death trap. So,
well, there is a kick. That's just not going to work there for Ona. He's going to be put into a bubble and destroyed. Zayas moving on down the cage. Fantastic this time, but it's the resurrection and Carrier. He mistimes the abyssal dive. Elk gets himself out of there with the relentless pursuit, and there goes Faker. BLG are too far ahead, and they know it has now been flashing with the counter-strike. That'll be the ace, and that will be match point for BLG.
BLG, the LPL first seed, showing why they were so feared coming into MSI, taking us to a match point against T1.
Nexus will go down, and BLG, man, you were right, Kobe. You said it at the beginning. You saw that Lucian Nami, and you were like, this is looking dangerous. Their only win in this series thus far. Oh, man. Could this be the adaptation that T1 required as the Cassante is indeed locked in?
I was going to say, I'd be very surprised to see Rumble for Bin. Yes, we saw a little bit of Worlds. That was the first time he ever played a game.
And Elk will now just find Zayas, who will get snared. There are 3 members of BLG in the area, but Elastic Slingshot, one heck of an ability. That is going to mean just the grub's going to be taken here by BLG, but that is still a good prize.
Yeah, not a lot of experience for Elk, but is getting a lot of souls. You know, roaming up there by the
Chat's going to be there for me.
These should go to T1 because, actually we're seeing a walk-up from Zayas in the river right now, but they should go to T1. On does not have teleport. So Zayas going to turn it into a 5v4. These should definitely go to T1.
Yeah, you can see Zayas just moving towards Knight here, decides that he wants to head towards the Raptor camp and is going to be able to head over there. So Void Grub's going to be collected, like you say, by Ona.
Stay down for the Dragon, but T1.
Yeah, Carrier noticing that this is going to be very low. That is the steal for Owner, though. Says, thank you very much.
Definitely want to make sure they're winning this. A match against Gen G up next if they can try and find it, but Spear goes wide.
Yeah, picks the gap as the Rift Herald going to be secured here by T1. Muscling
and they've got Tristana stacking range as well with levels.
Oh, the hook not landing. That could be a problem here as On is down to 50%. He's extraordinarily tanky. You mentioned Giga Nautilus. That is fitting the bill. Skoomer is going to be able to tear out those sticks. So, we almost had some sort of theoretical death or kill.
Already on Dragon. I mean, Figure has teleport, but is he going to use it?
Yeah, Vision available here as Elk. Wind becomes lightning is going to connect. There is an ulti. Great knock up as On is going to have to flash to get himself out. Knight is now being kept out of this fight as well as now Faker has his mitts on him. The Dragon down to 50%. Another W going to be connecting there. The Dawning Shadow, and it should be first blood as Gumayusi will be taken down. It's Bin that grabs the first one. Faker tries to get out of there, and T1 are now just going to find themselves lying on the ground. As Zeus, not anything he can do, and he might split up, but he is still very dead. Shun's going to be able to lock that one down, and it's two quick ones for BLG and a Dragon.
On was missing the hooks to give T1 false hope. He finds the crucial one onto Gumayusi, sets up for Shun's spear, and immediately BLG pounds. They take the kills, and they will take the Dragon.
They're just going to run away with the map now. I mean, they're even going to get the last outer tower.
Gumayusi throws one auto at him. That is about all they're going to find for the moment. No commitment to any fight right now as Knight moving in from that top side. And now Faker tries to find his opportunity. They take down Shun. There is one in this fight as now Elk. He could be in trouble as well. Makes it underneath the turret. And now Gumayusi, this is his time. He's hopping mad underneath this one. Owner going to do the same thing as Faker. Backflips on top. Not going to be the bailout there for Owner, and they take their first. Wow. And T1 will be able to lock that one down. It is still feeling so narrow here for T1 to try and tightrope walk their way towards Silver's A fight. Could be an opportunity here as there's a flash depth charge to come out from On. Faker getting underneath the turret, does have the shroud, I believe, but no, he's not able to get into it, and Shun's able to lock down the kill. Right as I was saying it, they're back on the board.
TP in behind them though. T1 do not want to let BLG go for the Baron. Waving bot side isn't in a position for BLG to really capitalize.
He has his teleport. Could be an opportunity. Hook is going to land there, and it's just not going to be anything here for T1. The Cell Division comes down, and T1 cannot find any opportunity. That is going to be Gumayusi using that Fate's Call to get Carrier out of dodge. But Carrier, I don't know about that one, Carrier. The hook is going to be there once again from the Giga Nautilus, and T1 are just falling apart. Dawning Shadow flies in. And it's just going to be BLG wandering back towards what feels like a free Baron.
This has got to be free. Owner, maybe he could work some magic. It would be Psycho, though.
Oh, dear. There is Gumayusi trying to dance his way out this time, but Bin is just going to execute him.
Look at Owner. Owner is ours, and it all started with BLG sending the hit squad for Faker. 4 members, everyone spamming flashes and ultimates, and they took down Faker, and then were able to chain it into the rest of the map.
BLG knew it was their moment. They knew they had to take down the GOAT if they wanted to take this across the finish line.
And Knight flashes the JDG icon. He says, I am the defending champion of...
That close, but it is pretty close. And it feels close enough, as T1 were already on the back foot in this game. They found that miraculous fight, and it felt like there was somewhat of a way back in. That door has been shut, and maybe on someone's toes as well, as they're going to go for it once again. On still hasn't taken a damage yet as he gets his hand shook. Elk just standing in the back line, keeping him healed up as Faker looks for the flank angle. Gets the backflip onto Shun, but Gumayusi not going to get bailed out of this one. Shun dives in. He's just going to execute Faker. The hostile takeover is going to come on through. We'll see whether that's going to be enough as Knight does go down. Shun's going to follow suit, but it looks like BLG will have the man advantage in the end. That's going to be the ace, and they might just be able to win the game right here, right now.
BLG will take down the second seed of the LCK in what is an unbelievable performance from the first seed.
And able to get their revenge from the World Championship, and the LPL just showing the LCK that this is their tournament. They do not lose at MSI, and there goes the Nexus. That is the match for BLG, and they'll be heading towards the winners final.
The triple